In tonight's headlines, Philippine-US kickoff largest ever Balikatan Exercise. PNP supports SIM card registration act. DOH logs 2,726 new cases for the week. Ukraine insists on territorial integrity. Major pump price hike set Tuesday. Celtics soar to the top. And GOCC dividend remittances hit over 57 billion pesos. Good evening. Today is Monday, March 28, 2022. I'm Miguel Paltagonan and this is Tribune News on Q. Here are the stories for this evening. The Armed Forces of the Philippines and the United States military kicked off on Monday its largest ever joint military exercise dubbed the 37th Balikatan Exercise. Joined by around 9,000 military personnel, AFP Chief General Andres Centino said the exercise would strengthen the interoperability of the two countries' armed forces and would decisively contribute to the peace and stability in the Indo-Pacific region. A total of 3,800 AFP members and 5,100 U.S. military personnel will take part in the joint military exercise slated for March 28 to April 8, the largest iteration in the annual event since the coronavirus outbreak in the country in 2020. The Filipino and U.S. soldiers will train together in areas such as maritime security, amphibious operations, live fire training, urban operations, aviation operations, counterterrorism and humanitarian assistance, and disaster relief. The Philippine National Police expressed support for the SIM Card Registration Act as the measure would aid in tracking criminals during the investigation and was not a breach of privacy. PNP Chief General Leonardo Carlos said that with the measure, police can directly access vital information of the concerned criminals to ensure that they would not be able to commit more crimes in the future. He also asked the public to cooperate, explaining that SIM card registration added to the security and was not a breach of privacy. In February, the Senate and the House of Representatives ratified the bicameral conference committee report on the measure requiring the registration of mobile phone subscriber identity module cards or SIM. The Philippines recorded a total of 2,726 new COVID-19 cases from March 21 to March 27, lower by 24% than the previous weekly tally. According to the Department of Health's weekly case bulletin, the daily case average for the week was 389. From March 14 to March 20, the country logged 3,572 new COVID-19 infections with a daily case average of 510. Data also showed that 758 severe and critical cases are currently admitted. Of the 3,204 intensive care unit beds, 15.1% were occupied, while 16.7% of the 27,547 ICU COVID-19 beds were in use. Among the new infections this week, there were none tagged as severe or critical cases. Tribune News on Q will be back after these reminders.
Mahalin natin ang Pilipinas.
Lilipad na ang agila, magtatanggol magmamahal sa ating bansa.
We shall fly, soar, fight, and win!
Mapalutong bahay man o sumptuous meal for special occasions, sagot na kayo ng tropang Kalanpag. Dahil atid sa inyo ng Daily Tribune ang fun and exciting cooking show na Kalanpag, manood at matuto kung paano lutuin ang mga favorite nyong recipes. Sabayan pa ng fun and inspiring na kwentuhan sa kusina. I-upgrade na rin natin ang mga nakasanayang traditional dish ng pamilya. Plus, healthy tipid tips na ibabahagi ng tropang Kalanpag. Matuto, mabusog, at ma-good vibes dito lang sa Kalanpag. Tuwing Lunes, 10:30 a.m. sa Daily Tribune Facebook page at Tribune Now on YouTube.
In other news, with peace talks between Russia and Ukraine set to take place in Turkey this week, Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky has insisted on the territorial integrity of his country after earlier suggesting he was ready for a compromise. Zelensky said in a video address to the Ukrainian people late on Sunday that in talks due to take place in Istanbul, his government would prioritize the territorial integrity of Ukraine. But in comments made to Russian journalists earlier in the day, Zelensky adopted a different tone, saying Ukraine was willing to assume neutral status and compromise over the status of the eastern Donbas region as part of a peace deal. In the video call that the Kremlin preemptively warned Russian media not to report, Zelensky said any agreement must be guaranteed by third parties and put to a referendum, and even with talks looming, Ukraine's head of military intelligence, Kirill Budanov, said Russian President Vladimir Putin was aiming to seize the eastern part of Ukraine. Oil firms will implement another major hike in pump prices of petroleum products on Tuesday, bringing prices up 12 out of the 13 weeks so far this year. In an advisory, Philippines Shell Petroleum Corp said it will hike prices per liter of gasoline by 3.40 pesos, diesel by 8.65 pesos, and kerosene by 9.40 pesos. Clean Fuel and Petrogas will implement the same adjustments, excluding kerosene, which they do not carry. The changes will take effect at 6 a.m. on Tuesday, March 29, 2022, for all the firms except for Clean Fuel, which will adjust prices at 8:01 a.m. the same day. Other firms have yet to make similar adjustments for the week. Domestic pump prices have been on an uptrend in 11 out of the past 12 weeks due to the ongoing conflict between Russia and Ukraine, which has hit global prices. In sports, Boston sees a share of the Eastern Conference lead. Phoenix dumped Philadelphia in a possible NBA Finals preview, and Kyrie Irving's home season debut was spoiled Sunday by the Charlotte Hornets. Jason Tatum scored 34 points and Jaylen Brown contributed 31 points and 10 rebounds to ignite the Boston Celtics to their sixth consecutive victory, a 134-112 home triumph over Minnesota. The Celtics scored their most points in a half all season to grab a 72-49 halftime lead and improve to 47-28, matching Miami for the best record in the East. Defending champions Milwaukee and Philadelphia 76ers are third on 46-28, while Chicago, Toronto, Cleveland are within 5 games. In business, the fiscal discipline that the Department of Finance, or DOF, continues to impose on government-owned or controlled corporations, or GOCC, has yielded 57.55 billion pesos in actual dividend remittances in 2021 from these state-run firms, or 9.4% higher than the 2019 pre-pandemic collection of 52.59 billion pesos. These 2021 remittances exclude the dividends forgone in 2020 income from the Land Bank of the Philippines and Development Bank of the Philippines, which retain their dividend contributions to continue boosting their capital requirements, the DOF's Corporate Affairs Group said in its report to Finance Secretary Carlos Dominguez III. Inclusive of the dividend relief granted to the select GOCC, including Land Bank and DPP, the total dividend collections for 2021 amount to 84.72 billion pesos, which is 22.5% higher than the 2019's 69.17 billion pesos. Under the Duterte administration from July 2016 to December 2021, total dividend collections inclusive of dividend relief averaged 68.7 billion pesos annually, more than double the level of the past administration from July 2010 to June 2016, which only collected an average of 27.5 billion pesos worth of dividends per year. That wraps up the stories tonight. Before we go, we would like to thank the SM Store, Araneta City, the Department of Tourism, MG Motors, Hina Motors, Security Bank, Empire Eastlands Holdings Incorporated, and Overseas Committee Affairs Council member Alan Lin of the Republic of China for their continued support. Again, this is Miguel Pautagonan, and you're watching Tribune News on Q. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay at home. Good night, and God bless us all.
This public service advisory is brought to you by Daily Tribune and 100.3 RJFM.
Oh, vaccination, isolation. Gotta keep up with my nutrition. Gotta maintain my body condition. Then I can take my vaccination. What do I choose? What do I take? As long as it is not a fake. AstraZeneca, Moderna, BioNTech, even Sinovac, okay na. Babakuna ka ba? 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 Vaccination for the nation, no more isolation. With vaccination, babakuna ka ba? 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 Paturok, paturok, paturok.
This public service advisory is brought to you by Daily Tribune and 100.3 RJFM. Daily Tribune, may digital shows na din. Dahil sa mas lumalaki at mas lumalakas nating tribu, handog sa inyo ng Daily Tribune ang mga programang magbibigay buhay araw-araw. Be informed at mag-good vibes tuwing umaga sa programang Gising Na. Be updated sa news and happenings sa Tribune News on Q. Mas kilalanin pa natin ang mga paborito nyong atleta sa programang The Athletes Tribune. Alamin ang latest entertainment sa programang What's Up. Ma-inspire sa mga kwentong hatid ng Perfect. Search lang ang Daily Tribune sa inyong Facebook at Tribune Now on YouTube. See you there, mga katribu!
Catch the latest news on our website, tribune.net.ph. Follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. Subscribe to our YouTube channel, Tribune Now. Download the Daily Tribune app on Apple Store for iOS and Google Play for Android to get the latest and most comprehensive news online. Daily Tribune invites you to join its Viber community, Katribu, to get updates on the hottest news on politics, business, sports, lifestyle, and entertainment. Emoticons of the Tribune mascot Tercito are available on our community Viber.